Right, this here is a 2014 Subaru Forester 2.5 IS-S4, I believe. It is the creme de la creme, the premium model when it comes to all things Forester, all the bells and whistles. Why do I have it and what am I going to do with it? Firstly, a friend of mine in Melbourne went to trade it in on a brand new car and was only offered $16,000. We had a bit of a discussion and we reckon there's $4,000 or $5,000 more on the table, which is nothing to sneeze at, so that's why I'm having a go at it. Secondly, I thought it'd be interesting to do a series on a more modern car rather than the old nuggets that I normally do. So I'd like to see what it looks like and is it worthwhile taking all that effort to get those $4,000 or $5,000 extra dollars. Am I going to get that extra money? Are we going to get that extra money? I have driven the car up from Melbourne, from my friend's place to Brisbane in order to wave my magic wand over the car. Check that video out up here. You get to see plenty of the beautiful Aussie Outback, some dead kangaroos and lots of semi-trailers. They're big trucks. I want to focus on some of the running repairs required to get the car in order just before we start doing the detailing. The things that need looking at, well, we've got a blown low beam headlight bulb. That caused me some grief on the trip. The steering wheel, she's peeling, doesn't look attractive. The dents in the car need to be removed, so we're going to do some paintless dent removal, or PDR. And last of all, we've got some cracks in the leather seats. Not the arse crack kind and not on the arse area, but on the side of the seat, there's lots of cracks. We're going to fix that as well. Let's stop talking, back to the garage. This particular Forester runs a HID bulb, so it's not your standard setup. We've got a daytime LED daytime running light and these HID bulbs. If you've changed bulbs before on a car, it's not too dissimilar to that. They're all pretty much basically the same. I just think we've got a couple of other extra little pieces that we need to remove in order to get to the bulb. I ended up sourcing a bulb on eBay, an Osram 4DR from memory, 35 watts. I couldn't find one locally, readily available, and at a reasonable cost. They were over $300. So eBay, thank you again, $100 or thereabouts. I think it was a fraction over, and I managed to get it within a week. I also had to ensure that I got a bulb that matched the lumens or luminescence, I think that, someone will tell me if I'm wrong, of the headlights to match the existing one that was working. There can be warm tones and cool tones, so browner and whiter looking. So I checked the specs on that in the manual to match, and fingers crossed that it's good. Let's get into it and see how hard or easy it is. The owner informed me that several years ago they had to address the headlights on the driver's side, the right-hand side of the car. One of the bulbs went out then, so now it's time for the passenger side to be done. We are lucky enough that it is the passenger side. The driver's side has this big intake for the airbox, whereas we have a little bit more access on the passenger side. We need to remove what looks like a ballast. I don't know if that's the correct terminology. So we're going to remove that and pop the bulb in, and we should be done in about 10 minutes if I don't stuff it up. First thing I'm going to do after looking at that, and you should do it anyway when you're working on the car and doing anything with the electrics, is disconnect the battery. So the battery is right here and this is in front of the battery. The headlight is out here. We've got a connector down the bottom. We're going to pull on the bottom of it, like squeeze it together and pull out. Come on. Oh, can you believe it? There we go. All right, that is out. Now I believe this just turns. Let's have a look. There we go. So we're going to break the seal. I don't think I'm going to have enough room here. I might have to get the battery right out. Ooh. So once you've turned it all the way, I thought it might be a bit more difficult, but you just pop the seal there. That comes out. There we go. All right. Then we've got to turn and remove this section here. Looks like where the bulb attaches. So again, same way, we're turning it away from the center and pulling it. The bulb, like traditional bulbs, has the clips on it. that you got to push in and move. So let's get our finger on there maybe. There we go. Like that. One on both sides. Didn't realise that. Can't see it. Okay, there we go. So see that there? We've got this here. So that hooks around two little lugs on each side. Drop it down. And we should be able to slide the bulb out. Have a look. Straight out. Now there is a locating tabs on the bulb. There we go. There ain't much left of that, eh? That has all but disappeared, that bulb. This is our Osram D4R 35 watt. I'm not sure on the temperature. There is a temperature to the bulb, but that is in your manual. It does tell you in your manual what it is. Let's pull it out. Don't touch the bulbs. That's what we should look like. So if we look closely at the bulb itself, the base has gaps in it. They're like a locating tab that need to slot over what's in the actual headlight when you put it in. That helps sit it in place. And we just put that clamp back over each side of the bulb and put everything back on. Let's go. Oh, there's bulb everywhere in there. Now that I've removed all of the pieces of glass, I've got to line up the locating spaces and lugs, slide the bulb in, and then just do everything in reverse. Now everything has to attach to the rear and turn from the outside of the car into the center. Let's go. Pretty easy. Bulb faces up with the little rod down. Go into the hole. You just move it around till it all pops in like that. So now that's sitting there, you can see it. Then we bring up the clamps one at a time on each side of the bulb. Bit hard to see. That one's on. And that one's on. So bulb is in, clip is on. Now we take this little contraption here, this piece, and we start with the top of it angled towards the outside of the car, like that. It just slips on nice and easy, pretty easy. And then turn it, you can hear it turn. Put the next part on, which is the outer casing with the cable. So we're going to push the cable in a little bit. And then, well, there you go, lines up. It's all pretty logical. Everything clips into a spot. Now we turn it. There's a nice tight seal. So turn it back away from the outside of the car. Is that on? I think that's it. Let's go a bit more. That's it, all the way. And then, last but not least, power to it. Clip it in. I'll check it now, put the battery back on and check it works. So here's all our pieces, or most of them. You might want to get a vacuum in there and suck it out even. I've got pretty asbestos style hand, so that doesn't really hurt me, but it can get a few small bits in your fingers. And yeah, that's what's left of it, so we'll throw that in the bin. She was cooked, fried, Dunskies. That ain't chump change. Secondly, I thought it'd be interesting for once. Secondly, I thought it'd be interesting to do a flip on a more modern car. No. Secondly, I wanted to do a car that's probably a little more modern than what I'm used to doing with the old Nuggets. Another truck. Bulb and replace it. The passengers has caught up. The owner has told me that the bulb itself is a 4DR. I can't win 4DR, and I managed to get a brand. No, I don't like any of this. Fuck.